We have the answers. We know what and more means. We know the loot table for the Monster Hunter collaboration with Final Fantasy XIV. It's alright, I guess. But there's some notable, let's call them omissions, that are very hard to look over for me. Hello, everybody. I am Jmulls, and let's get into this. Now, for Tokyo Game Show, we did get a new collaboration trailer, so let's check it out. I have watched this before, but it is a pretty interesting trailer, and I do think it looks really cool. Fight-wise, I am not pessimistic at all. The fight looks very interesting and fast-paced, and borrows a lot of mechanics from Monster Hunter Wilds for the Arkveld fight, which was one of my favorite fights. Actually, I think it was my favorite fight from that game, that I've played at least. I haven't played some of the more newer fights, but still, I think it looked really dang cool. And I think it'll be a nice addition to the repertoire of fights we have in Dawntrail right now. It's just the rewards where I get rather pessimistic, but I like the fact there's a little bit of a story here. I like the fact we're tracking it down, we're writing the Sacred. The intro for Arkveld here looks very interesting and cool. I like it. It feels very Monster Hunter. I love the environment we're having this fight in, with this giant chasm, with the light coming through. We see some of the mechanics here. Very Arkveld. I did see someone point out, it's like, oh, why are there, like, mechanic markers in this fight? That doesn't feel very Monster Hunter. I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, it's Final Fantasy XIV. We're gonna kind of need them. We get the potion mechanic returning. It just looks pretty dang good. I can kind of imagine what a lot of these mechanics are and what they do and how you're supposed to handle them. I imagine a lot of either stacking or just getting the heck out of dodge. I think the mechanics look pretty dang cool, look very Arkveld. I think it looks pretty dang good for the fight. The fight is something I am interested in actually trying out. The weapons also look pretty good. Pause it, though. Does anyone see the freaking problem? Now, I think the weapons across the board look pretty dang good. Why Black Mage, of all the jobs, gets the hammer, I don't know. Because it's like, just design a regular staff inspired by Arkveld. Why are we giving the hammer to Black Mage? That should absolutely have gone to a melee job, in my opinion. Frame 1. I know there's no job in the game yet that at least uses a hammer, but still, like, you could have just given it to Warrior as well. Now, this is a really cool mount. This is probably the reward outside of, like, maybe the weapons or some of the minions, I think is probably the coolest. Getting the cart with the palicos, like, carting you around, which is what happens in Monster Hunter when you die or you get, like, KO'd. They will just, like, cart you back to camp. So getting that as an actual mount in this game, pretty dang cool. And it flies as well. I like the little animations with the palicos, like, hanging on for dear life. I like that. The meat-cutting animations. I mean, you gotta get some meat in you, you know what I mean? I like it. There's a lot of interesting elements to this collaboration. I like the animations here. Does it matter in the grand scheme of things? Probably not all that much, but it is nice to see this kind of stuff. Now, however, I'm probably going to title this video, I am disappointed with the Monster Hunter collaboration, or something to that effect, and it's because of the rewards, which are always one of the most important elements of a collaboration, in my opinion. You want a really good chase, you want a reward that makes the effort you put into doing the content make it feel worth it, and also to get something cool that you're excited about. And there's nothing really here that I would honestly ever use, outside of, like, maybe a few seconds just to see how it looks before I just put it away. And now that is a deeply, like, personal thing, right? Like, aesthetic preferences are all just subjective opinion. Absolutely. However, again, it's like, if you're doing an Arkveld fight, I've hopped on about this before, and I didn't fully go in because they did say and more before, so there was always the hope that we would actually get things like the Arkveld mount or an Arkveld armor set, but we don't have that anymore. It's not here. Instead, I'm just left with this disappointed feeling concerning something that should be really dang cool. I quite liked Monster Hunter Wilds. I like the stuff we're actually getting. I think, like, the Sekrat mount actually looked pretty decent. I love these little guys. The Kant mount looks good. We should absolutely have gotten an Arkveld actual mount. I do not know what their reasoning is behind not getting it. Whatever it is, though, I almost certainly would disagree with it. It is the easiest slam dunk, something you should have put into this as a good chase, and the fact that it's not there is an active detriment improvement to this entire piece of content, in my opinion. The minions I'm fine with. I like the fat little guy. I like the Vigor Wasp. Cool. I like that. The housing stuff looks pretty dang good. The tent stuff, interesting. I like the little trading dummy guy. I like the piece of artwork you can get for your house as well. The weapon stand, the little wall scroll thing. I like the look of it. It looks pretty cool. I'm a big fan of palicos. I think they're awesome. Really like the housing stuff, personally. Then we get into the armor sets, and it's like we get the basic, like, Hope Coat, which is the starter gear in Monster Hunter Wilds. And like, okay, sure, that's cool, but like, can we also get the Arkveld armor set? Like, that's a slam dunk. That's a key element of Monster Hunter. And if you're trying to emulate the Monster Hunter experience, the core gameplay loop of Monster Hunter is that you fight a really tough monster, and then you scavenge it for parts to craft a new set of gear. Not just the weapons, which are the Arkveld weapons, which with some like new designs, which are cool, don't get me wrong, but you also craft an armor set, or you can, from that monster. And the Arkveld armor set in Monster Hunter Wilds is really freaking cool. Now, granted, there's a few different variants depending upon the specific type of Arkveld you fight, but they all look freaking cool. Like, I would use one of these sets, especially on my warrior. But instead of that, we're just getting the Hope set, which, like, to be fair, it looks fine, but it doesn't have that pizzazz. It doesn't have that wow factor for me, you know? And then we're getting a bunch of housing stuff, which, to be fair, I do think looks pretty cool. I like the Phasmascape stuff we're getting, which are the giant paintings you can get. We're getting some songs as well. That's cool. It's one of those situations where they never said we were getting an Arkveld armor set or an Arkveld mount. Absolutely, they never said that. At least from what I've seen and heard. But those are like obvious things that should have absolutely been here. And while the stuff we are getting does look cool, and I think the fight itself looks pretty dang fun, I would love to try it out, I get the same feeling that I've gotten with the rest of Dawntrail, where I'm looking at the rewards and I'm like, this just doesn't appeal to me aesthetically. And granted, there's no like objective measure for like what constitutes a good like cosmetic reward, right? We all have our different preferences. It's just what Final Fantasy XIV is deemed worthy enough to be a reward lately hasn't been in my wheelhouse. And you want to know the funny thing? This isn't even the biggest problem that I have with this piece of content. It's the release date. Now, I'm just going to preface this. This is highly personal. I'm not saying they're doing something bad by having this come out on October 7th with the release of patch 7.35. I'm just saying that for me personally, the timing is bad because I don't only play Final Fantasy XIV. I also play World of Warcraft, and an event that I've been looking forward to for a while now called Legion Remix is coming out on the same day, where World of Warcraft is basically taking the Legion expansion from Vold and turning it into this big arcadey fast-paced collectathon experience, and it looks super fun and has a bunch of rewards that I would love to get. And if you're asking me, which am I looking forward to more, patch 7.35 of Final Fantasy XIV or Legion Remix? If I was to be honest, I would tell you Legion Remix. Now, I imagine there's going to be a lot of people out there that will say patch 7.35, and they're not wrong for doing so. It's everyone's personal preference. I'm just saying, this isn't the first time Final Fantasy XIV has now released something on a release date of World of Warcraft as well. Their release cadences are starting to really line up, and it's a bit of a shame for me because I would love to have nothing else to do and just be able to just pour a bunch of time into possibly grinding out this fight, because it does look pretty dang cool, but now I'm being forced to make a choice between this thing that I've been looking forward to for a while at this point, or this fight that for me has underwhelming rewards. But it's not like this is the only thing coming out with patch 7.35. There is a piece of content coming out with patch 7.35 that I've been looking forward to for a while at this point, and that is the Deep Dungeon. And I am hoping that piece of content in particular is able to really grab my attention and make me excited about dumping a bunch of hours into Final Fantasy XIV. This fight at least looks really dang cool. I will say that. It's just, again, it's fine, I guess. I'd like to get the Dark Knight weapon. Like, this is the one weapon I'd really like to get. I love the Greatsword. But I would love to deck my character out in Final Fantasy XIV, the Arkveld set. And I just can't. Which is a shame, because this is really becoming a recurring pattern for Final Fantasy XIV for me, which just like the cosmetic rewards the game gives you just don't do much for me at this point. So yeah, man, I mean, the fight itself looks really good. So I'm looking forward to that. I can already imagine people just like tanking AoEs because they stand right next to the wyvern milk. It's like, I can already see that happening. It's gonna be funny a few times, let's be fair here. Again, the mechanics look really dang cool. Like, the fight looks awesome. I want to make sure that is clear. But yeah, funnily enough, in a weird way, I do think patch 7.35, content-wise, is probably what has the highest potential to pique my interest in Dawntrail's endgame that we've had so far. Because it's not like we're only getting this collaboration. We're not. It's also the full release of patch 7.35, which means the deep dungeon. I am hoping they knock it out of the park with that. I'm willing to play it, I'm willing to try it out, but I guess time will tell. But hey, we're actually getting some stuff in 7.35, so you know what? The Arkveld fight and a deep dungeon sounds like a good stream to me. And if you want to be there to check out my full reaction and thoughts, you should leave a like and subscribe. If you liked the video and you want to see more content, I know I would appreciate it. And here's where you come in. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on the rewards and just the overall collaboration with Monster Hunter Wilds. Who do you think got the better deal? Monster Hunter Wilds or Final Fantasy XIV? Because I don't know, man. The fact that Monster Hunter Wilds is getting Dark Knight and Pictomancer looks pretty dang cool to me. I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear your opinions and to hear your perspectives. Now, I did briefly mention World of Warcraft there, but that's not all the World of Warcraft news that we're getting in early October. We're getting a deep dive into the next expansion, Midnight, and a developer Q&A, and the alpha for Midnight is starting soon. And they've also teased some new stuff for WoW housing, and if you want to find out more, you should check out this video right here for more. Stay safe, everybody, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody, until we meet again!